Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Now then, another Opposition Day debate and another chance to remind the Labour Party exactly why they are the opposition. But of course, the British people don't trust them on the economy. They don't trust them on the NHS, immigration, defence, Brexit, law and order, and the last 4 general elections have proved that. However, I think we have an incredible record since 2010 with record employment before COVID, national minimum wage reaching new highs, income taxpayers are 1,200 quid a year better off, less children in workless households, less families in poverty. The list goes on. And locally for residents in Ashfield and Eastwood, it gets better. Since being elected, I've managed to secure £6.2 million through the Future High Streets Fund, another £1.5 million from the Accelerated Towns Fund, and we now have funding to get us through to the second round of the Restore Your Railways bid, which could see train passenger services return to Selsdon for the first time since the 1960s. And on top of this, I'm currently working on a multi-million-pound bid with Broxdale Council to ensure that the forgotten town of Eastwood finally gets its fair share of investment. Now, Mr. Deputy Speaker, this is in sharp contrast to Labour's record in Ashfield, and I'll tell you why. In 2005, Kingsmill Hospital in Ashfield was given away by the then Labour government on a disastrous PFI deal. The hospital was rebuilt and should have cost about 300 million quid. But thanks to the financial incompetence of the Labour government, the PFI now costs £1 million a week, and the total cost of the hospital could be £2.5 billion. Now, you don't need a degree in hindsight to know that this was a bad deal from the start. But if the Shadow Chancellor can guarantee that their own British recovery bonds will provide a £2.5 billion return on a £300 million investment, then let me know, as I'm sure my residents will snap them up. Their incompetence is staggering, and I half expect to see the Shadow Chancellor and other Shadow frontbenchers go to market one day and return with 5 magic beans, because their economic policies are like fairy tales. They make great bedtime reading for anyone under 5, but no one else believes them. Mr. Deputy Speaker, 3 years ago, while still a Labour councillor, I was asked in a Labour group meeting if I'd read up on the economics of Karl Marx, and I said no. I was then told to join the Tory party. I took their advice, and now I am their MP. That'll teach them. And finally, Mr. Deputy Speaker, socialism is a nice idea, but it is just like Labour's front bench. It's never worked, it never will, and no one takes it seriously. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. That's me done.
Thank you, Video Link. Debbie Abrahams.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy